No one has seen or heard from Naziyah Harris since she got off at her bus stop on Detroit's east side. The longer this search goes, the more suspicious it all seems.
For her to be late, she has never been late coming home. She's always got permission to do things.
When was the last time that you heard from your granddaughter?
When I dropped her off at school, which was on January the 9th.
Annette tells me when Naziyah didn't come home from school on January 9th, she knew immediately something was wrong and reported her missing the next day.
If you guys are not familiar with this story, this right here is Naziyah Harris, who was failed by every single person in her village. She was failed by her parents who birthed her. She was failed by her grandmother that they passed her off to. And she was failed by her aunt and all of the people in her village. She came in contact with her aunt Shannon's baby daddy, and her aunt Shannon's baby daddy took advantage of her and violated her and impregnated her and unalived her as well.
Caller, what's happening? Who is this and where you calling from?
This is Shannon from Detroit.
Shannon, what's going on?
All we need to do is, the first question is, where's my niece? Where can we find her? That's what we should be doing. Looking. Like we have. So therefore, anything other than finding my niece is irrelevant.
You know, I know you revved up right now. You know what I'm saying? Your name is, in the centerpiece of a lot of shit right now, right? But like I got just a couple of questions on the tip of my mind.
Warning. What she says next is 0 out of 10, do not recommend. What she says next is silly bird brain behavior that is not recommended or advised of any real mother.
Like, apparently this man has had a history of this. Like, so did you know about him being on the sex offenders list, or, any kind of activity about that? Like, had you even heard of anything like that before out of him?
When I met him, when I was 19, he did tell me his background. He did tell me his background. Out of doubt. He gave me the decision. If I wanted to pursue a relationship.
So given that his background was sex offender involving a child, right? And you still made the decision to talk to him?
One, I was 19, and two, if society can give you a second chance, why can't someone else give you a second chance as well?
What's your emergency?
Hi, I'd like to report a big back, bad-built young woman who turned out to be a bigger back, insecure grown woman who knew her baby daddy had a record but allowed her daughter and her niece to fall victim to him. She needs to be locked up immediately for neglect. She cannot pass go, and she cannot collect that $200 that word on the street is she's been putting on Jarvis's books. Book her immediately and take those kids and place them in a loving home that will protect them.
Did you know someone by the name of Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
And do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today? If you need to stand up and look around.
I don't see him.
Do you need glasses, ma'am?
Yeah, my daughter has my glasses.
911, what's your emergency?
I like to report Annette Harris for pretending she didn't see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom, fake crying during press conferences, and failing to protect Naziyah Harris. I'd also like to report that Annette was recently spotted with other minor children who need to be removed from her care immediately. All that food that's in her grocery basket is just going to go into a refrigerator that's locked in chains, and it's just not a safe environment for anyone to be in, especially minors. Lock her up too. Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night, and it's time to take a deeper look into this Naziyah Harris case. Now, I know this video was supposed to be out a long time ago, but life started lifing. I had stuff going on with my friend, and it just deterred me from the story, but now I'm back. Now, some people got their introduction, like me, to the Naziyah Harris case through the preliminary hearing. And some people have been day one talking about this in the Detroit area as it pertains to some of the podcasters and some of the family members speaking out. Now, we about to get into some things, but make sure y'all also are supporting me on my website and things like that. Make sure you guys are also hitting the like button as well. If you guys have not hit the like button yet, hit the like button ASAP, because this is going to be a long video. I need y'all support, because if they don't monetize this, now I put in a whole lot of work, so I definitely would need y'all support. Now, on my channel, when I was introduced to the story through the preliminary hearing, there wasn't a lot of media covering the story. My aunt called me and she was like, hey, you need to get on this story. There's this story about this case about Naziyah. You know, I want you to talk about it, this, that, and the third. And at first, when she was telling me the details, I'm like, I already heard this story. The guy already went to jail. And I thought that it was the Jonathan Quillis story of the guy in Florida who impregnated his niece, then he unalived her, and so on and so forth. His brother ended up turning him in and all of that. I'm like, yeah, I remember, you know. And then she's like, no, they just had the preliminary hearing. And so then I started to look into it, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is a totally different case, but similar circumstances as the case in Florida. So I decided to come to you all, and I did a 5-hour live where I was watching different testimonies. We were getting into some things about the grandmother, the fiance, the girlfriend, the baby mama, and this, that. And we were going over a large amount of coverage in this case. Now, since my coverage of that preliminary hearing, it has gone viral. The story has gone viral. My video did really well. And it's been going down on the internet since I have been deterred from this story, okay? People done ambushed Shannon and the twins. People done ambushed the grandmother, going in, throwing stuff at the grandmother. Some girl done clout chased and tried to get social justice herself by breaking into Jarvis's shop. The sister of Jarvis spoke out, and she had to say her little 1212 online. It's just been a whole heaping mess.
Well, y'all, hi, what's going on? Hi. I know y'all had a whole lot to say about me online, but now y'all see me. Like, what, y'all ain't expect me to pop up, huh? Move out the way. Now you want to move. Okay, well, go ahead. You said we can answer questions, so what's up?
You already asked me questions,
No,
and I answered it.
Excuse me, ma'am. The people of the public wants to know where Naziyah is. Are y'all going to tell us, or y'all going to stop playing games? Huh? How you miss your baby? You don't miss your grandbaby? Huh? You don't care about your grandbaby? Hello? Here, take some cheese balls with your burger. Use a burger. Here, take some cheese balls.
Now, if that stuff wasn't a lot, let's add on the fact that people are spreading around without verifying, without vetting, without even determining which brother this allegedly is. They're spreading around audio that does not, from my vantage point, from what I've seen in the preliminary hearing, it does not match the evidence that was presented at the prelim, but there is also audio going around with what is allegedly Jarvis Butt's brother giving his version of events of what happened the day Naziyah went missing.
some antifreeze or whatever he was going to try to get rid of the baby. He gave that to her, you know what I'm saying, and tried to do whatever he could do. She was feeling sick or whatever. All right, so he gets in the car, drops her off to go back home. All right, when she gets out to go home, she go in the house. Shannon didn't get into it with her. They didn't call and see if she was at Jarvis' house because Shannon already knew she was at Jarvis' house because she called to get directions.
What I just played for you is a quick snippet of the audio that's going around. In the audio that's going around, it's much longer. The guy goes into more detail of what he says happened. And personally, for me, it isn't an insult to my intelligence, but that's my opinion. If you choose to believe the audio that is surrounding around this supposed brother, then be my guest. For me, I need stuff to be vetted a little bit more. Number one, in my breakdown of looking for receipts, and even before this audio of Jarvis Butt's brother came out, I found the names of all of his brothers from an obituary of one of his brothers that passed. Now, if people are going to circulate audio and say it's Jarvis Butt's brother, which brother is it? I got all the names. I got all their Facebook pages. Let's match it up. Let's vet it. Let's verify before we're just spreading anything. Now, again, I know that people want answers. There are a lot of people that are invested in this story, and a lot of people already formed in their head what they believe to happen. A lot of people feel like Shannon actually was a part of unaliving Naziyah, and people have formed certain things from listening to psychics, mediums, all kind of stuff that is online. And from that, I guess if you believe those narratives, which anything is possible, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I guess it's easy to also believe this audio. For me, again, it's an insult to my personal intelligence. I listen very closely to the preliminary hearing, and I listen very closely to the facts that they presented. I'm not going for, oh, this Jarvis brother. No. Which one? Which one is it? Which brother? So that we can weed, you know what I mean? You know, yes, we want answers. Yes, we want the truth. Yes, we want, you know, certain key people to speak out. But I'm not running off what these psychics say. I'm not running off what these just any old leak audio says. I'm just going with the facts from what I think is a little bit more credible. And that's what my videos are going to be based on. It's a whole lot of rumors on the internet, but one thing that ain't a rumor is my website, www.niquelatnight.com. I have several goodies on there. I even have card games for couples if you guys want to spice things up for Valentine's Day. Check out my website, www.niquelatnight.com. But back to what I was saying before. So what I was letting y'all know was I originally planned to do a big breakdown video, and then I got distracted with the situation that was going on with my friend. Because I did not hurry up and put out the things that I told y'all I had way before others put it out. I told y'all, like, okay, this is what I found. This is what I found. This is what I found. This is what I intend to show you. Others started to beat me to putting it out. So I wasn't able to put everything out as diligently as I planned to because life started lifing, and I put other priorities over this story. So other YouTubers got to make it their exclusive. But I say that to say a lot of the stuff that I'm going to show in this video, y'all probably seen it already, okay? But being that I told you guys that I was going to make this video, I'm going to still make my video, put my content out, because at the end of the day, who breaking it down like me? Nobody. Okay, I'm just kidding. No, but there are some really good content creators who have been covering this. There's some amazing YouTubers who have been covering this, who have been doing a phenomenal job or whatever. But I just want to, you know, just put a timeline together. So in this video, it's not going to be everything that I originally planned to show you guys, just because, like I said, a lot of content creators have shown y'all a lot of the stuff anyways, and I just was not able to be diligent and get my video out as quickly as I would have liked to. So I'm going to fine tune this video and bring you guys a timeline of Naziyah being failed and how this all could have been prevented 2 years prior to her unaliving and this alleged pregnancy that she was alleged to have. Now, I had in the intro a piece of the conversation where Shannon admitted that she knew Jarvis was an offender and she decided to give him a second chance. Now, we're going to re-listen to that a little bit and then we're going to go forward.
Like, apparently this man has had a history of this. Like, so did you know about him being on the sex offenders list, or, you know, any kind of activity about that? Like, had you even heard of anything like that before out of him?
When I met him, when I was 19, he did tell me his background. He did tell me his background. Out of doubt. He gave me the decision if I wanted to pursue a relationship.
So given that his background was sex offender involving a child, right? And you still made the decision to talk to him?
One, I was 19, and two, if society can give you a second chance, why can't someone else give you a second chance as well?
All right, so as you heard that phone call, you heard a woman who was so desperate for attention of a man that she was willing to take scraps and procreate with straps and give him a second chance. Now, the second chance that she gave him was a second chance to reoffend. It was a second chance to create children to offend. And it was a second chance to have more access to minors in order to violate them in an attempt to desperately have a piece of a man. Because let's be honest, the way he was slanging that peen around town, she barely got a piece of the nigga. But in order to get at least a piece, she was willing to allow him access to her niece, her children, and so on and so forth, which is crazy, unfortunate, and out of pocket. Now, in addition to her failing Naziyah and allowing him access to those girls, the grandmother also failed Naziyah, and so did Shannon's twin sister, who was windmilling like crazy when other family members came to confront them about the fact that Jarvis was making moves inappropriately. Now, the next clip that I'm going to show you guys, a lot of you guys probably seen it already. A lot of you guys sent this clip to me, and it was a podcast where there was two women interviewing two of the family members of Naziyah Harris, the twins, etc., etc. Now, the women that were being interviewed are Janelle and Kiwana. And in 2022, 2 years before Naziyah had ever gone missing, was possibly pregnant, or anything like that, Shannon confided in Janelle. She told Janelle how one of the young family members came forward and said that Jarvis was trying to pay them in exchange for doing something inappropriate, and they said that she was touched and everything like that. She talked about how Shannon tried to dumb it down. She talked about how she told how Annette knew about the situation and how they acted like they were going to call the cops, but then they didn't call the cops and nothing really was done about it. Now, the incident where Jarvis first made a move where a minor spoke out about it was February 2022. Okay? So let me play this clip. I'm going to put the podcast on the screen. I can't think of it right now that I'm filming, but definitely I'm going to give them credit on the screen. And let's play what this family member had to say about an incident that took place in 2022.
I started my issue. Me and Shannon were thick as thieves. I love the children. I would go around, went to Disney World. We traveled together. Then she called me and told me that it was a birthday party in February of 2022 for her second daughter's birthday. And most of the children, pretty much all the children were at the house, the grandchildren. There was one little girl who was another, Annette's other sister's daughter was there. Now, this child had never been around Jarvis alone before. Or I think she might have been at the birthday party or something, an adult birthday party, but it was at a hall. But she was at Shannon's home, and this young lady was so afraid. Shannon's telling me this. She ran upstairs, frantic and afraid and scared, and wanted to go home and wanted to call her mother because Jarvis touched her inappropriately while she was in the basement playing with the puppy. While this little group, now Jarvis was on a game. He wasn't thinking about going up there with Shannon or nothing. Shannon says all of a sudden, while she's up there, she's trying to calm this little girl down and talk to her. Jarvis comes and knocks on the door and says, "What's wrong with her?" And I said, "Shannon, why are you calling me? Is he dead or is he in jail?" No, he left. What you mean he left? Call the police. Let them know where he's going, what car he's in.
Right.
Well, I'm about to take her home, then I'm going to call my mama. What? So I called her back like maybe 30 minutes later. Like, did you call the police? No, my mama said bring the kids home tomorrow morning. She going to talk to them. I'm like, no, y'all don't need to talk to them. You need to contact the police. She did not contact the police. I found out later the police were never contacted. The next day when I called Shannon, I talked to her. She said, my mama talked to them and said the kids ended up telling us they lied. They was mad because he wouldn't give them no money. So I called Annette and I said, Annette, are you guys going to call the police? She said, yes, we're handling. I'm going to call the police. So I left it alone. Like, she going to call the police. Shannon assured me that the police had been called, they were involved, there was an investigation going on, all of this. This was in February 22. Well, in April of 22, I called Shannon in a lie. The police were never called. The children were not receiving counseling. Nothing had happened. So I went to the Clinton Township Police and I told them that I wanted to make a report. They told me I couldn't make a report because I didn't have enough information about the child who actually accused him of the sexual abuse. I said, but the other children also accused him of sexual abuse. They said, well, they didn't happen that night. And I'm like, he said it would probably be best for you to call CPS. So I called CPS and I told Shannon I called CPS. I said, if y'all didn't call, I told you to call the police. I told you to get the kids help. You didn't do it. So I'm calling CPS on not only you, but I'm calling them on your mama too. Because it happens, whatever's happening at your house is most likely happening at your mother's house.
Okay, so as you hear that, Annette was aware, Shannon was aware, and Shannon's twin sister was also aware that there was allegations of Jarvis being inappropriate with one of the minors in the family. And what I want to say is they had a duty to protect those children. They had a duty to bring this to the authorities, even if they felt like, oh, the child is exaggerating, or whatever excuse they came up with to cover it up. Let's say they thought, oh, the children are lying, or, oh, they're exaggerating, which we know they were not. The fact that he was already an offender, the fact that he already had a record for this, you do not take that situation lightly and you vet it to the fullest extent. You bring in the authorities, you have these kids interviewed, you bring this situation all the way through and through. And now, not only did the family members of the Harris residents, the aunt, the grandma, and the other twin fail these babies, I'm trying to figure out, and I never heard what happened with the mama of the child who made the first complaint. Because what they're saying was, it was a child who was in attendance at the birthday party.
There was one little girl who was another, Annette's other sister's daughter was there. Now, this child had never been around Jarvis alone before. She ran upstairs, frantic and afraid and scared and wanting to go home and wanting to call her mother because Jarvis touched her inappropriately while she was in the basement playing with the puppy.
Where her mama and her daddy at? Now, we on Shannon and them head, but why I didn't hear about what that mama did to bring charges against Jarvis? Because as you heard the cousin say, well, I didn't have all the details. I didn't really know this child like that, whoop. So I couldn't really bring the info to the cops effectively how it needed to be said. So where was the mama at? Or did y'all not tell the mama or what? I really didn't get that part of it. If I missed it, y'all let me know in the comments. But that person's mother failed Naziyah and her child and did a disservice to her child as well by not bringing this to the authorities, because the mama should have been the one to bring the house down way before he could have did anything to Naziyah. But that it didn't appear to happen. Again, if I missed it, if I missed where they said the mother of that child went to the authorities, then hey, it is what it is. Have y'all hit the like button to this video? Because if you have not hit the like button, support it by either visiting my website or a Cash App. Like, what are you doing? All right, let's get into it. All right, so now let's go to the family member by the name of Kiwana. Now, Kiwana and Janelle both had encounters with this 2022 incident and both claim to have called CPS as a regards to it. Now, let Kiwana explain how she came in contact with this 2022 situation and calling the CPS and all that, and then we'll move forward.
So then I end up going over there to drop off Naziyah some clothing. And once I got there, Shannon pulled me to the side and said, I got to tell you something. And I go, okay, what's going on, little cuz? And she said, that Janelle and called protective services on me and lied and said that Jarvis was doing something to the kids. I said, what? What do you mean she called protective services to say Jarvis was doing something to the kids? How would that come about? So that's when she went to tell me, it was a party, and she explained that what happened at the party, and that they end up questioning the children, and her daughter, along with Naziyah, along with my other little cousin, which I've never met, had expressed to her that Jarvis offered them monies to do things inappropriately. She said, however, she found later on that her daughter was lying. And I said, Shannon, kids don't lie about stuff like that. But a child not gonna come and tell that something like that happened and just be lying. You need to further investigate. No, that Janelle just trying to start some stuff. I said, no, I don't feel like she trying to start no stuff. I feel like she care and concerned about what's going on in the household as far as the children. This is outside of you and her relationship. This is about looking out for the children. And so we began to go back and forth. And I became, what she like to call it, the op, being as though now I'm taking up for the kids. So I contacted Janelle and said, what's going on? Because we hadn't talked for a little while. And I said, explain to her what I had heard and what Shannon had said. And she told me what happened and what transpired. So that's when I called Protective Services.
Kiwana Morton and her cousin Janelle are both relatives of Naziyah Harris. In February of 2022, Janelle says she learned of allegations of improper touching involving butts and other small children. She says she was told about the claims while talking to her niece, Jarvis Butt's girlfriend, and that the alleged victims were Naziyah Harris and 2 other children. Her complaint came in on April 13, 2022. There was an incident at a birthday party, the complaint reads. One of the children that attended the party accused Jarvis of abuse. Naziyah, and name withheld, reported that Jarvis touched both of them inappropriately as well. Jarvis touched, name withheld, in her private area, and it hurt. The next day, Janelle would receive a text from her niece, Butt's girlfriend, confirming that CPS had contacted her. CPS called me, the text reads. They called about the well-being of my kids. Then they called back to get Jarvis info. A CPS spokeswoman would not tell 7 News Detroit if investigators ever questioned Naziyah Harris after receiving the complaint. But we do know it wasn't the only complaint filed with CPS, naming Jarvis Butts. Internal CPS records we obtained show that investigators looked into that complaint, conducting a face-to-face interview with Butts, who strongly denied the allegation. A forensic interview was conducted with the alleged victim, and no disclosures were made. CPS said the home was clean and free of observed safety concerns. The allegation was denied, assigned a low-risk level. These are 2 complaints of at least 5 filed with CPS since 2015, naming Jarvis Butts.
Now, as I stated, this all went down February 2022. Now, as we watched the preliminary hearing, we heard from the detective that there was inappropriate text messages in the fall of 2022. So, knowing that this situation happened, they allowed him to continue to have access with these girls. And in the fall of that year, then Naziyah's texting him, talking about going down to the basement. She's texting him about, all of these things. Matter of fact, let me replay what the detective had to say as it pertains to these 2022 text messages, and then we're going to go forward.
Can you read the messages that were sent from that number to Jarvis Butts' number, or I guess the messages that were captured within People's Exhibit 50? Including the dates and approximate times.
So the first message is September 24th, 2022 at 22:15 hours UTC. She sends, "Bald head Janiyah, come here."
And that's to a number that's not Mr. Butts.
Correct.
Okay.
Then the next message is on September 27th, 2022. All of these dates are from 2022. So September 27th at 1:37 a.m. UTC. It is sent to Mr. Butts' phone. "We fitnessing, happy birthday." Immediately after that, at the 17-second mark, again to Mr. Butts' phone, it says, "Come on." On that date, September 27th at 1:52 a.m., another message is sent to Butts' phone asking, "You okay?" September 27, 2022, 1:54 a.m., she sent a message, "Where are we doing it at your choice?" Immediately following that text, a message is received to Naziyah, to this text now number, from Mr. Butts' phone that says, "You tell me." 9:27, 1:55.
All right, so these messages is her asking him where they about to do it at. This was in September of 2022. And she disappeared in January of 2024.
1:56 a.m. A message is sent to Naziyah from Mr. Butts' phone that says, "You sure?" At 1:56 a.m., a message is sent to Naziyah, from Naziyah to Mr. Butts, saying, "Or job." At 1:57 a.m., a message is sent to Naziyah from Mr. Butts' phone, saying, "Can you suck my dick, please?" The message immediately following that, from Mr. Butts' phone to Naziyah, and make sure you erase the messages. Still September 27th, 1:59 UTC, a message is sent to Mr. Butts that says, "K, that is what I planned to do." Another message is immediately following that at 2:01 to Mr. Butts. "You turn me on just looking at you," and then there's a bunch of letters, which possibly it's maybe an image that was sent that doesn't capture on the messages.
Okay, so as you've seen that, disgusting, despicable, they should have been under the jail alone from that. But let's show more neglect. So 1 year exactly before Naziyah was unalived and possibly pregnant, there was an all-out war on social media with Naziyah Harris' family. There was a family member by the name of Kenya, and Kenya was going toe-to-toe with them, calling them out and telling them that they were protecting a PDFer. She got wind of this situation that happened in 2022, and she got wind that, nothing was done about it. And she got wind that they were still allowing Jarvis access to these children. And she decided to blow the whistle on Facebook and put them on blast. Now, according to Kenya, in her Facebook feud with Shannon, the twin, and calling out Annette, she did say that she was going to call the authorities and she was going to get the authorities involved. So I'm just going to guess, because the other cousin said that they called CPS and they did nothing. I'm going to guess that she did go to CPS. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say she went to CPS and nothing was done. And CPS also failed Naziyah 1 year prior to this situation. But let's get into this back and forth feud between Kenya, Shannon, the other twin, and all of that. Now, Kenya, a lot of the back and forth in this feud that went on Facebook, the twins are alluding that she had a source and she had a battery put in her back. And I'm going to guess from how the information is lining up that her source that they kept referring to, I'm just going to guess that it must have been Janelle and Kiwana, the prior family members who have been speaking out and advocating in 2022. Okay? Because they were talking about, oh, your source not bold enough to speak, whoop, this, that, you speaking on their behalf, this, that, and so on and so forth. So let me play this video. I recorded this previous when I was first supposed to put this video out. But I'm not going to replay me going through all of the receipts. So let's cue up that footage and go on this rabbit hole of this Facebook feud. All right, now I don't know if the Backyardigans need to sue y'all or you need to sue the Backyardigans because somebody stole the other one's look. I'm like, sis, it's giving somebody copying somebody. But anyways, so her first post on social media was the following: January 7th, 2023, 1 year before Naziyah went missing. It says, individuals that protect child violators and frighten their own children to not tell the truth is an absolute disgrace. And not only that, and still allow him to be around is sickening. She then came forward with another post. These things have been told to me, and I will make the tables turn. There will be no story you can tell. The truth will be exposed, and so will the individuals who are aware these things are happening. From what I understand, your mama did nothing when it happened to you, so now you are allowing it to happen to yours. The chain will be broken. Your family dark secrets have been exposed, and so will you. So then I presume that Shannon replied on her social media, right? So I believe, because I can't see all of Shannon's posts, but this appears to be a reply to Shannon and making her actually go out and just expose what she knows. Okay? So let's say Shannon posted something and then this was the reply. The twins, as I hear it, there is a Chester the PDFer among them, and it has been confirmed by someone else. So speak facts before running your mouth off. So under the post where it said that they had a Chester the PDFer that they were basically covering for, Shannon and her bobblehead twin sister, instead of hitting like to it, they laughed at the status. So on Facebook, you're able to have different expressions. You can be sad, you can just simply like it, or you can laugh to the post, and they selected to their like to be a laugh, and they laughed at this post. Shannon and her bobblehead twin sister thought it was funny, and they laughed at this, as you see them in the likes. So Shannon Kidd's father offered his own daughters and someone else's daughter money to suck his. He has been to prison for PDFing a 13-year-old girl. And since Shannon don't want to raise the kids on her own, she told her kids that so they wouldn't get him in trouble. Shannon would rather lay up with the kid's father than to protect them from a child PDFer. But hey, there is more. Lady is so messed up because Annette did not believe her. Now, Lady is Naziyah's mother. That is the nickname for Naziyah's mother. Lady is so messed up because Annette did not believe her when Annette's husband Charles PDF'd her. She swept that under the rug, so there you have it. It runs in the family. Child PDF is okay at the Harris residence, and so is the holier-than-thou Annette. She knew about Jarvis. Don't call me out when I talk something. I got the facts. If you don't have the whole story in me, shut the F up, okay? So she was blowing the whistle on the situation, and she said, listen, something happened to Naziyah's mother, and she wasn't protected. And now you have Naziyah's daughter, and she's not protected. And these things are being covered up in your household. All right? So in between that last message and this message, again, I believe Shannon herself made a post. I can't see her post because she made a lot of her things on her page private. She made a post and she says, I got more. So type some more ish to me. Him offering them money, that was confirmed today. I talked to the little girl. All right. So she says she confirmed it and she talked to the little girl. So you better believe they're going to have her on the stand at trial and giving her firsthand account of her talking to whichever little girl she's talking about. She then says, I speak on something, I'm speaking the truth. I will be making them calls. All right. So she's alluding that she, a year prior to Naziyah going missing, she's going to be making them calls. What are those calls? Calls to CPS to try and get them removed and out of their care and protected. All right, so this is another post where it looks like she was replying to them, either Shannon or the sister. It says, for the book, I have never ever talked or said anything about anyone else in this family being gay. That one is dead. Now, if you look at the comments, it said that this post had 17 comments on it. Now, if you go into the comments of this post, well, y'all can't go because the girl done deleted the stuff off her page, but I caught it before she deleted it. So anyway, if you go into the comments like I did, you'll see that Kenya was talking back and forth with someone in the comments. Now, when I clicked and selected all comments, only Kenya's comment showed up, and per the twins' words, they blocked her. So if they were going back and forth with her, and that would explain why there's 17 comments and it only showed me 2. So as you can see in this thread, she replied and she says, y'all more worried about who told than the mental state of the little girls. And again, I see why Lady is effed up. So again, Lady is Naziyah's mom. And as you guys know, or some of you guys may not know, Naziyah's mother is an addict, and she is a very bad addict. and therefore she was not the one to raise Naziyah, and it is alleged that the reason why she's messed up, according to these family members, is what happened to Naziyah was done to her, and so on and so forth. But anyways, let's go forward. But as you can see, she was going back and forth with the twins in those comments. I can't tell you what they said. I just seen what she said. Now let's go on. All right, so this next post looks like Shannon was talking mess again. And from what Kenya is saying, I'm going to assume Shannon was denying that he was an offender, which per the beginning of this video, we know that before she got with Jarvis, she admitted to Mark on the phone that she knew he had a record, and she knew that back when she was 19 years old. So now when Kenya is blowing the whistle, she's replying to Shannon 1 year prior to Naziyah going missing, and I'm going to assume in January of 2023, she wasn't even pregnant yet. So Kenya puts his offender business on blast, and she pulls up his record that shows that he is a registered child diddler, and she says in her caption, he not what? He not what? And he don't like young girls. How old is he? 1982, you was born. His first wife divorced him because he was PDFing his daughter. Facts. He got his tail beat by some little girl family members because he was touching on her as well. Okay, and accompanied with this post, she pulled up Jarvis's record. Now, if you go on to the Michigan Offenders Registry, I'm not sure why they have Jarvis's name right here spelled incorrectly, but if you go to Michigan Offender Registry and you type in Jarvis Butts, this post right here, or this offender registry, will pop up, and it shows that Jarvis Butts is other names, amongst other names that he goes by, and then this name, I'm gonna assume that whoever officially typed it in had probably did a typo, but it has all of his other, names attached to this record as well. So if you type in Jarvis Butts, this Jairus Ramon Butts will come up. Same person, tomato, tomato. But anyways, she blew the whistle a year before. All of these messages that I'm reading, y'all, is a year before, but heavy on this. Okay, so let's continue. And then she tells Annette, I'll be at your church, Annette, to tell them how you threatened all the girls not to say a word to anyone. She then says, at the end of the day, this information was brought to me to help the situation. You decided to respond on Facebook as if you thought you was going to be able to control this. Your negative response blew this wide open. The stupider your post was, the bigger minds became. People who allow children to be compromised by any adults need to be prosecuted, period. What's done in the dark and swept under the rug will see the light and be uncovered. So again, she's responding to things that Shannon is saying. Again, I can't access Shannon's page as far as what she was responding to, but it's clear Shannon made a post and she clocked her in the next post. All right, so then the next morning, here comes the other big back twin. So the twin whose 9-year-old testified and said that Jarvis tried to violate her and that she witnessed him violate Naziyah and her other cousin, being Shannon's other daughter. The mother of the 9-year-old that he tried as well, she jumps into the arena to step and defend Jarvis. So she hops into the ring and she says, stay in your damn lane, Kenya. Since you all over here, I got your nose. Found it in our business. You want it back? Hope you're up getting ready for church. You better beat the deacons there. All right, so she said that, and I believe she was replying to when the night before Kenya said, I'll be at your church, Annette, to tell them how you threatened all the little girls not to say a word to anyone. So the other twin is saying, girl, you better beat the deacons there. She then says, don't know why it's so hard for people to keep their nose on their face and mind the business that pays them. Since you got all this energy bashing people like you said when it's said, and don't have the same energy making a public apology, dummy head? And responses like this is why I think that they're a little bit delayed. Cause What? What are you saying? So when she made that post and she basically said, I don't know why it's so hard for people to keep their nose on their face and mind the business that pays them, yada, yada. Kenya then responded to her and she said, when it all blows open, prepare to be embarrassed that you, amongst others, are okay with child PDFers. All right? So she's responding to the other twin, like, girl, when it's all blow over, just know that you were complicit as well. All right? So then the other twin, she says, somebody needs to petition Kenya aid to the psychiatric ward, crazy home. Guess she stopped taking her meds. Kenya replies and says, I swear, every smart A post you make, I have a better response. I will clown you. So then the bobblehead twin responded to this post and she wanted an apology for the accusations that Kenya had laid out. Don't know why it's so hard for people to keep their nose on their face and mind the business that pays them. Since you got all this energy bashing people like you said, when it's said and done, have that same energy and make a public apology, dummy. All right? So she was replying back to Annette because Annette was saying that, you know, when it's all said and done, she's going to prepare to be embarrassed. And this twin says, no, you prepare to make a apology to us publicly. Okay? So she's disregarding it, even though he's an offender. Even though if there's other girlfriends making allegations, there's chatter amongst other people, and even though a minor in their household had made claims and came forward, she's standing beside her sister and also defending Jarvis and telling the cousin that is bringing this to social media that she's the one that's finna be apologizing and being sorry. All right? Amongst others, are you ready to kiss my behind? Messy at its finest. Then she says they using their puppet because the source can't do it themselves. Continue being your source spokesperson. Continue working for free and entertaining us on Facebook. We all know the person/persons that's doing it, and my quest won't be wrong either. All right, so she's basically saying, listen, I know Janelle and Kiwana is behind this, and I know that they got you up to this, all right? She says, stupid is as stupid does, and then one of her cousins commented and said, you know, what's going on? And she said that she was going to call her. All right, so I have to pause this family drama real quick to promote myself, period. Because if I don't promote myself, who will? All right, visit my website, www.niqueatnight.com. I have accessories, earrings, press-on nails. I also have goodies for adults. Visit my adult section because you might want to stock up on something and spice up for Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back to this family feud. All these D-biters we have in the family, starting with Kenya. All right, and in this post, the twin is responding to something Kenya said, but I'm not sure what she's replying to because nothing that I seen on Kenya's page said anything about her being in an organization. But I'm going to guess maybe Kenya deleted the post and I don't know. But anyways, so she's responding back to Kenya and she says, girl, you not part of no organization. Your ex-in and his wife is a part of an organization. You just mad he's a higher rank and he married his wife 1 month later, silly rabbit. He knew your A wasn't marriage material anyway. Just like you got your source, I got mine, dumb A. All right? So she's saying, girl, you got your source telling you that Jarvis made an attempt on these kids. I got my source about you, period. So then in the comments, one of her friends or whatever commented and said, BM, enough for today. It's getting out of hand. She already crossed the line. So the twin responded and she said, you're right, but I'm putting this old hag in her place where she belongs. I got time today. Her old A, she worrying about everyone else's problems, but can't mend the ones that broken at her expense. So right here, she's saying she's worried about everyone else's problems. So were you admitting right here 1 year prior to Naziyah going missing that there was an issue with Jarvis and these kids? And you're saying that Kenya worried about the problems in y'all household, but not the problems in her own? Make it make sense. Y'all knew this stuff was going on, and it's ridiculous. Because this is one of those pseudo slips that they be saying. What is it? Pseudo slips or whatever, however it go. So her friend says, it's been going on long enough. You got better things to worry about than her. No, the better thing that they had to worry about was listening to what she was saying and protecting those kids. Another person chimed in under her thread. Friend, you don't even be doing all this. I read the whole ish. You gotta erase it, boo. Y'all just going too far. And the twin says, friend, I'm always quiet. But when you go below the belt discrediting my family's character, it's a different story. 304s know where we lay our heads, and no 304 about that life at all had to put this old 304 in her place since she don't know where she stand. And then this person says, as you should. Sometimes you gotta leave they A on red too. This ish is beneath you. And she replies, it's a shame. She in her 50s acting like Captain Save-A-Ho. And when I read that, I'm like, she telling you that there is a predator that you guys are protecting. She's telling you that said person tried to violate one of your children in the home. And your response is you had to put her in her place because she's in her 50s acting like Captain Save-A-Ho? So then she says, didn't you get pregnant with your oldest at 15? And didn't you lie about your age and your BD went to jail for that? So here's part 3 you were asking for. The real tea is the family doesn't F with your old dumb A. All right? And then on here she says, 1 thing's for sure and 2 things for certain. I ain't have no one set up though. You did. All right? And in the comments, you can see one of the comments that she made. It says, you worry about my mama so much. You just want to eat her pee. It's always my mama. But to my acknowledge, you couldn't take care of your kids. You was too busy chasing Wanky. And your mother wasn't a mother to you with her crack ed. What parent choose wanker and crack over their kids? You're not doing good if you still calling your kids asking them for money, broke B. All right? So as you see in her comments, she's basically replying to Kenya. And if you can see right there, it says that there was 24 comments on this thread. Now, in later posts, she says that she eventually ended up blocking Kenya. So I believe that there was a lot of back and forth between her and Kenya under this thread, because when you highlight, click all comments, this is the only one that shows up. Meaning Kenya was tearing that tail up under them threads, and it still, made a log that there was a comment made, and she blocked her. So therefore we can't see what Kenya said, but she ended up blocking her or whatever. Now she's back to spreading rumors. This is so entertaining. Pass the popcorn. Y'all better come on. The show about to start again. Then she says, y'all better come get this dingleberry head A.B. I see you still essing it easy. Your jaws should hurt by now. I forgot. That's why they call you Jaws. Now, girl, them clapbacks need some work because it's not giving at all. So she says, you're miserable who can't understand normal thinking. I most definitely got time today. Wish a MFer would jump silly. I light your A up too. I'm on whatever time you on. Okay, so she like, girl, get with it, get let, like, let's get silly. Like, what's up? What's good? Like, what's up? You know? And she's ready to rumble on behalf of her sister's PDF baby daddy, who also traumatized her own daughter. So then she going in at Kenya saying, you don't have no army. Keep sharing and commenting, and debiting is okay with you, dummy head. And then she says, blank when people say they move in silence, but let the whole world know what they about to do. Come on with your bad A, you tough almighty. All right? So she was going toe-to-toe with Kenya. And she was letting Kenya know, girl, I'm not the one or the two, period. Kenya, like, girl, you better save it. I don't know who you think you're talking to, but girl, I'm not the one or the two. All right. And then she says, one thing I can say, at least my mother made sure her kids didn't get pregnant at 15. We all know dang well my mama don't do the Facebook beef-ish. She grown like you say you are. Psych, B, you're childish, your immaturity level ain't there at all. All you do is come to Facebook and start problems and trying to be a captain save a hoe. You just mad because my mother cut into you and you didn't like her response. Don't try to shame my mother when you don't know how to be a mother yourself. So again, Annette knew, the twins knew, and they all chose to ignore it. If the mother is cutting into Kenya, and this whole topic and center of the conversation is about what's going on in the Harris household, I'm more than sure that they relayed the message to their mom, what Kenya was saying, and they all failed to do anything to protect those girls, period. All right, so as you see, that conversation and that thread was dated 1 year prior to Naziyah's disappearance, prior to her alleged pregnancy, and prior to a lot of things that could have been prevented. All right, so let's get into the next part that I want to talk about. Now, we heard testimony where they said that they would take the kids to the shop, and we heard Jarvis say that he would give the kids money in exchange for them to clean up the shop. Okay, clean up, in quotes. Now, I went over Naziyah's Instagram page with you guys in a prior video, and I pointed out a couple of things, but I want to take a closer look at two posts that are on her social media. So on this post here, there was a lot of people who said that this was not Jarvis's shop. Now, they were like, Neek, you know, you do good work, but this is not his shop, blah, blah, blah. This looked like an auto shop to me, okay? I'm not taking your word for it. This don't look like no grandma's baby. That right there looks like the thing where you lift up the car and you raise up the car, and the things behind her look like a auto shop, okay? So until I get different confirmation from a credible source, this looked like the shop to me, okay? So on August 5th, 2023, she posted up a post in what looks like Jarvis's shop. So as you see right here, that's the date. It says August 5th, 2023. Now, this is 8 months after she been warned about the allegations, and she was put on notice that he had been inappropriate with people in the family. She had been put on notice, I'm sure by then, by other girlfriends of inappropriate allegations about him, and so much more, and still decided to allow Naziyah and the other twin, allowed her 9-year-old, and Shannon allowed her 11-year-old to all go to this shop to clean up, okay? Now, in this post where it appears that she is at the shop. Let me just play it. I can't play the music, but let me just play it. All right. So she's looking in the camera and, you know, all seductive. The very next post that she posts after she leaves what to me looks like the shop is her at home. So here she still has the same outfit on, the same, she's still using the same video effect. She has the lanyard, the shirt, and you can see the date right here is also August 5th, 2023. She starts to sing this song, and I can't play the whole song because of copyright, but we'll go over this in a little bit more detail.
If only you were mine. If only you were mine.
All right. So she starts to sing this song where she says, if only you were mine. If only you were mine. After leaving what seemingly looks like she was with Jarvis in his shop. Now, I don't know this song in particular. When I first heard it, I didn't really, it didn't really ring a bell, like which song it was. And I decided to put this song in Google to see what the actual song lyrics are saying. All right, so by now you guys should have made it to the halfway point of the video. If you guys are enjoying the breakdown and you are liking the way that I put this together, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video, because if YouTube is not monetizing it, they're not recommending and sharing it, so I need y'all help, all right? If you appreciate it and you want to send a Cash App or a Super Chat, do that as well. And let's get back to the video. Sorry for the noisy background. And when you go over the actual lyrics of this song, or when I rather went over the actual lyrics of this song, it made my stomach turn, because the manipulation that he had on her, how he was playing with her mind, is sickening. Now, let me pull up the lyrics. And the lyrics are very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, when Tink came out with her album, I remember trying to listen to certain songs, and I think this probably was one of them that when I heard G Herbo start rapping, I just immediately turned it off. But because of Naziyah Harris' case, I decided to take a listen to the lyrics, okay? So let's go on over to the chorus of the song. It says, if only you were mine. If only you were mine. And then G Herbo says, baby, I'm thugging. I can't be your boyfriend. If only you were mine. If only you were mine. And then G Herbo says, maybe I could be, but I don't know if I should be. If only you were mine. If only you were mine. I can't be yours, baby. You know I be on tour crazy. If only you were mine. If only you were mine. It says, just keep that on the low, baby. You know how it go. Okay? Keep it on the low. You know how it go. And as I was reading these lyrics and the way that she was, licking in that camera, it just hit me in the gut. And it just infuriated me that this man really had this girl just, in this haze, and how the people that were put in place to protect her did nothing to step in, intervene, take notice, stop his visits. Nothing once they came aware that there were allegations that he was inappropriate with other girls in their family, leading to this. Now let's go on over and let's skip over G Herbo's part, because it's crazy. It's crazy. Let's go on to Tink's verse, okay? Let's go on to Tink's verse because it's crazy how it just lines up. It says, you got me effed up. If you think that I'ma be chasing these ends, my phone off when I'm next to you, and I'm trying things that I never do. Your money long, but your head gone. My friends telling me don't. Problem is, you a street in, and you always sending me off. Truly, you are my best friend. I fell in love, and I can't pretend. Vibe right, so don't fall back. If we go together, just call it that. See how I show you off, cause I ain't ashamed of you. I'm just sick of playing all these guessing games with you. Tatted on me, we skin deep, and I ride with him, no DMV. Test drive it, it's all yours. I miss you there when you on tour. Understand you a boss man, you busy getting your hustle on. But every N got one B that he can call on when he feel alone. Bottom B, your main thing, your best drug, your worst pain, your girlfriend, your confidant, these N's acting so nonchalant. But I know you need this. It ain't no secret. Plus, I'm the loyal type. I'm just trying to make you mine. Okay? And all of these lyrics are not in the video where she was, singing on the bed. But the actual lyrics, how she was using the filter that made it appear that she had this like tattoo on her face, and listening to what the lyrics say and how she was singing them.
If only you were mine. Baby, I'm thugging.
Ugh. Sickening. Sick. Sick. But anyways, I just wanted to point that out to you guys because, crazy. Now, if you listen to the messaging on her social media and then you pair that with the actual text messages from him that he sent, crazy. Crazy. It's a lot and it's too much at the same time. Now, let's get into Naziyah actually going missing and how things transpired after that. Now, let me show you guys a clip of this news conference where they did a press conference, showed zero emotion. The grandmother was trying to fake cry, and she was basically calling out for Naziyah. All right? So let me show you guys that.
I'm gonna drop these.
I'm asking anyone that knows anything about my granddaughter, please contact the police department. She's been missing for a very long time. Naziyah is a very sweet child. This is not of her character. We've been looking for her. We've been passing out flyers. We've been calling people. We've been knocking on doors. We have done some of everything. And we're asking anybody that has any information, I don't care who it is, please come forth, contact the police department. Her life could be in danger. Please call the police department. I want my baby home. Just bring her home, please. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Just one more, Chief, one more community minister.
What's going on, caller? Who is this and where you calling from?
I am another cousin of the family.
Okay.
I think that they got something to do with it and they got something to hide, i.e., that's why Annette was on that goddamn TV conference that everybody saw, and she ain't show no remorse. She ain't even speak out to Naziyah and say, Naziyah, come home. We miss you. We love. She's talking about whoever got him and or whoever got her, excuse me, and all this other stuff like that. She ain't show no remorse, no crying, no nothing like that. And then the auntie, who was also in her care that's standing next to her with the glasses, she ain't have shit to say. And then when you called her, she declined the call. How was your niece missing and you declining calls and you declining interviews and you don't want to go on TV and say nothing about your granddaughter and about your niece?
All right. So as you hear that, and also you hear the cousin Roxy speak up, she was faking phony on that press conference. Okay, it just was a crock of BS. And it was a whole lot of. Well, Kenya, the one who had been calling them out prior, she came back to social media to call them out again. So Kenya decided to make some posts, and this is what she had to say. So in 2023, Kenya tried to warn them about Jarvis and let them know and let the world know on Facebook that they were protecting a PDFer. Now, fast forward to Naziyah goes missing a whole year later in 2024. Kenya comes back on social media to let them know how she feels about it. So on January 11th, 2024, a few days after Naziyah had gone missing, Shannon puts up a poster on her Facebook to try to get people to, I guess, give them tips as to where Naziyah is. So she posted and she says, please, any information is greatly needed. This is my niece, Naziyah, 13 years old. Have you seen her? Please help get my niece home. Please contact Detroit Police Department. Last seen leaving school Tuesday. Please share. So the next day, Kenya, the one who was going toe-to-toe with them before, she chimes in, and this is what she says. Can't sweep PDFers under the rug anymore. It's not okay, Annette. All right? And to that, the same twin that was rumbling with her a year prior, she decided to go at Kenya again. So she says, here we go with the lies. I'm going to say this for the whole family. If you not going to help look, share a post, shut the F up. If you're not. All those lies and assumption people make, Kenya, you making out of yourself, not assuming, dummy head. Okay? So somebody in the comments said, girl, ignore her. This is distractions. God, bring her home as it pertains to Naziyah. And Shannon replies and she says, all we want is Tuda to come home safe and unharmed. Anything else is so irrelevant. Keep the ignorance and ignorant people away. All right. To that, Kenya replies and says, from what I understand, she had been missing already for 3 days and no one, not even Annette Harris, reported it. Her own grandmother, the one who let a grown man known as a PDFer around her. And this is a new one. If anything has happened to her, well, we will be aware of who didn't care. So when Naziyah went missing, Shannon and her ploy to look for her, she asked some of her other family members to share the post that she was missing. One of the family members that she approached and told to share the missing person's post was her cousin in this photo, Roxy, that is between the grandmother and one of the twins wearing the glasses. Now, this is a throwback photo of Roxy at the twins' graduation in 2011. So as you can see, they have their class of 2011 shirts on. And in this photo right here, you have, I believe to the left is Shannon. You have Naziyah's mother. You have Naziyah's grandmother. You have Roxy and the other backyardigan twin, Marquita. Now, if I have the twins wrong, then hey, either or, one or the other, you see them on here. So after Shannon shared this post and she was trying to get people to find and help her find Naziyah, she slid in the DM of Roxy to try to get her on board to look for Naziyah as well. Now, it's important to note that Roxy, who has been keeping her foot on their necks, she has not seen Naziyah since Naziyah was 2 years old. She does not currently live in Detroit, but she is related to them. She is family and has been speaking out on social media. So let's get on into some of the messages and let me bring you guys up to speed on what they say. So they start to show a couple of interactions dated in 2023 in October. And then they're telling each other, you know, like, oh, I love you too, things like that. Then on January 11th, 2 days after Naziyah goes missing, Shannon messages her cousin Roxy and asking people if they seen her. Roxy replied and said, whoa, what the? Shannon replies and says, please share, cuz. Roxy says, why would she run away? Who she live with? Shannon replies and she replies saying Tuda, meaning Naziyah's nickname. Tuda lives with my mama. We think she running away with a boy or an older guy. Oh, wow. What the F? How old is she? Really? Oh, no. What the F? Shannon says 13. Then she goes, what is Kenya posting? Because I don't follow her. Girl, you better shut up. So she's telling Kenya that Kenya needs to shut up, which is the person who was advocating for these young girls a year prior. She says, well, Key seen 2 statuses on her page talking about, from my understanding, the grandmother of the missing kid didn't report anything until 3 days later. The second post talking PDF in the family. You got to check them as well. Key is blocked. Key A blocked her after that. Roxy says, what? So when did y'all report her missing? This is crazy. She says, Wednesday morning. How would Kenya know all of this? Oh, I thought she was missing when you sent me the post. Shannon says, my mama went to the school. DPD came to my house. They've been here all effing week long. Oh, okay. So the school said they didn't see her either? And then she says, Kenya don't know ish. Only what she assumed. Then Roxy says, was the N-word at the school waiting or something at the bus stop? Oh my God. Shannon says she never came home Tuesday. Damn, cuz. So she just come home Tuesday? So wait, what the bus driver say? If she was last seen, maybe the bus driver needs to be questioned because this is sickening for an older guy. Even a boy is bad. OMG, I hope she's okay. Shannon says, all we know is she got on the school bus and got dropped off on the corner of 3 Mile and Cornwall. Wow. Oh my God. Has she done this before? Do you, the boy who it may be? And I think she meant like, do you know the boy who it might be? She said, Tuda asked me where 2 streets were at, Belfort and Alford Drive. This is her first time. Tuda is sneaky as ish. Okay? And then the cousin says, so who lives over there? She said, we don't know. Now, I'm going to pause reading this right here because she's a lie. And the reason why we know that she's a lie and we know that she knows what's in the area of Belfort and whatever these streets are is because the prosecutors asked her about these streets and who does she know in that area when she was on the stand. Let me recap and play that for you guys real quick, and then I'll be back to read some more.
before January the 9th, you had a conversation with Naziyah about a location on Outer Drive in Belfour?
Yes.
And that was surprising to you, right?
Correct.
That's on the east side of Detroit?
Yes.
Did you end up giving her directions on how to get to that location?
Yes.
Why did you give her directions?
I was just getting out the shower and just getting myself together. She asked me, she said, "Hey, Titi," she said, "where is Balfour and Outer Drive?" And I told her, I said, "You know exactly where Balfour and Outer Drive at." I said, "Outer Drive is right where the wine basket at." And I said, "You know where Balfour at."
Does that location have any special significance to you?
No.
Do you know anybody at that location?
No, the only thing that I'm used to, I'm familiarized with just picking up Jarvis on Outer Drive in Belfour. It's just on the corner.
All right. So far, she says, to the left with an older guy. To the sneaky. All I know is to ask me about these two streets, Balfour and Outer Drive. Who does those older guy, Balfour guy, you mean to tell me that an aunt who a year prior was put on notice that her man had done inappropriate things with a family member, a baby mama who knows everything that her baby daddy be doing as it pertains to all the other women that he be dealing with, and a baby mama who is aware of those coordinates, didn't think my man, baby daddy, got something to do with it? Or was she covering for him here, trying to put and steer people along in another direction? Let's continue. So the cousin says, "Do you know who the boy is?" And she says, "Oh, okay, damn. Do she?" I think she meant, does she have a boyfriend? And Shannon says, the police said it used to be a skip house in that area. And then Roxy says, or girlfriend, shoot, you don't know this generation. Really, that's what they call now. The crib, not the bando. Is it, did y'all ride over there? And Shannon says, all her friends saying we did nothing wrong. She wants some D. Then her cousin says, how is Net and Lady? What? And so Net and Lady, if you guys don't know, I listened to some of the conversations from other family member, and I believe Lady is the nickname of Naziyah's mother. And she says, Mama haven't processed it, but Lady going through it. And I guess Net meaning Annette and Lady meaning Naziyah's mother. Net and Lady. So Mama haven't processed yet, but Lady going through it. And then Roxy says, is she not a virgin? Shannon says, she better be a damn virgin. Man, this is so sad. Lady back? Well, can't be if she wanted D. Okay, because she's responding to this part where she says she better be a virgin. And she's like, she can't be if she wanted D. And then I guess she's replying to this comment where she says Lady back, and she's saying she never left. And then she's saying she's still here. Oh my gosh, she says yes. And then she says, what? I thought she was gone. And then she said, she replied to when the girl said, well, she can't be if she wanted D. And she replied and told her that she don't use tampons at all. And then she said, what? I thought she was gone. And then she replying to about Naziyah's mother by saying plans changed. All right. So then she says, that don't mean that, because I was using them before I was effing. OMG, I feel so bad, dog. Yeah, right, babe. They do. I would have been came and seen her. That's why I said that. And then she says she's here now. She says, oh, okay. So then days after that, she says, hey, Pooh, still no word? She says, hey, cuz, Nothing as of yet. The detectives came by yesterday morning. They asked us if we had any luck. OMFing cuz please say it ain't so. What the F? Now this is too long. So then she says, to be honest, I do believe Tuda planned this ish out. All she really did is watch and observe Vari when he did it last year, to be honest. She said, wow, what the F? So where did he run to? His girlfriend's house? This is crazy. They caught him on the first try. But she don't got a boyfriend or none of that. Wow. And she still ain't been back to school? Well, at this point, it's scary. I'm beyond worried now. And Shannon says, we all worried. And the cousin says, I really hope and pray she is okay. So, cuz they just put it on crime in the D. Why is it not on the news? Okay. And then she ended up calling her cousin and so on and so forth. And she was basically checking on her. Now, one reason I can assume why it wasn't on the news is because if Shannon is telling her cousin that she thinks that Naziyah ran off with some boy, you better believe she was telling the detectives that same story and reporting her as a runaway, which Naziyah's father also spoke about in a prior interview with Mark D on his channel. He talked about how he was suspicious of the grandmother, how they originally reported her as a runaway, and how things were very fishy on his end. How he thought that, he was doing the right thing by giving Naziyah up. And turns out he actually was not. We're going to go over that, and then I'll be back to talk to y'all some more. But wait. Before we get into what the dad had to say, I found it interesting that one of the twins had posted on January 26, 2024, that Naziyah had been spotted at a gas station and a liquor store, etc., etc. I'm just like, that's suspicious, and that'll go along with some of what the father says later. Now, in addition to her saying that Naziyah was spotted on that date, Shannon also decided to defend the fact that they had chains and locks on the refrigerator. So in the beginning, I showed you guys videos of Naziyah dancing in front of a fridge in their home. And on that fridge, they had locks and chains on it. And so Shannon wanted people to know that it was legal for them to have these locks on the fridge. All right. So she says, since you all seem to be struggling with this concept, let me help clarify. By state law, personal refrigerators can have locks/chains as long as children have access to their fridge at all times. Good morning. So she posted that thinking that people are dumb, because if the kids got access to the fridge at all times, what would be the point of having locks in the first place if they have access anyways? Makes no sense, redundant, cancels each other out. Doesn't make any sense. I feel like they were neglecting those kids in more ways than one, and it's just unfortunate as ever. Now, in addition to that, she had her nerve to also post up a post. Let me see if I could find that post real quick. All right, 2 days prior to her saying that about the fridge, she says, my niece would be home if only I knew her location. But one thing for sure, don't try to malign my reputation by painting an untrue picture of who I am. All right, just a load of crap, because, girl, it's the audacity for me talking about my niece would be home if only I knew her location. Your niece would be home if only you decided to do the right thing and put your children and your niece above you wanting a piece of a man, because you had warnings 2 years prior to her going missing that he should not have had access in or around those girls at all. You chose to ignore it, knowing that he was a offender, and all of those things are the things you deserve the worst. Now, with that being said, let's get into Naziyah's father and what he had to say as it pertains to his opinions and all of that.
Naziyah's father, Mervyn Jennings, sat in his pickup truck in the parking lot, in tears waiting to get answers to find out what happened to his daughter.
She was last seen on Tuesday, January 9th.
They came up to see me at the hospital. They asked me some questions about my daughter. Have I seen her? And I haven't seen my daughter.
Naziyah's father, Mervyn Jennings, had been in the hospital for weeks recovering from a stroke and other health issues when he learned of Naziyah's disappearance from school investigators.
All right, let's stop that right there and just take that all in. Naziyah's father's in the hospital at this time dealing with health complications. And he finds out that his biological daughter is missing from school investigators. I found that interesting that he would be contacted by school investigators to let him know that Naziyah was missing and not the grandmother. Well, when he calls into a radio show, he then tells the dynamic of the grandmother, the reason why he gave her up, and so on and so forth. But I just wanted to make a note of that before we continued. Let's go on.
Mervyn suffers from congestive heart failure, but is out searching himself every day he's well enough to, with his wife Nakia by his side.
And it's just been very trying, taxing, and empty, but we're not going to stop.
They have been so moved by all who have turned out to help, especially since Naziyah's disappearance has caused a rift within the family.
I want to see her again. You know, my son, my daughter wants to see her again.
I mean, your son and your daughter want to see her, but like, did they ever see her in the first place? Now, the next part is a radio call-in that he did to 7 Mile Radio, where he talks about abandoning Naziyah, signing over his rights for the sake of that loving wife that we just saw in the previous clip, and trying to conceal her birth, identity, and all of the things from the wife. Let's hear how he explains his abandonment of his child and how he tries to justify it.
So with Naziyah and Naziyah's mom, just briefly, okay, we had made an agreement when she was born that the grandmother would take care of her. Now, the grandmother needed full rights to be able to provide full care, so we both signed over our rights to the grandmother. I put myself on child support. Now, once you did that, I put myself on child support. I was still going over their birthdays, taking clothes, everything. When I had this procedure done to my heart, I didn't have a phone for a while because I was in the hospital. They put a defibrillator pacemaker in. I had to go to rehab to work, so I lost contact. When I got out of there, they had moved, so I couldn't get in contact with them. Now, forward 3 or 4, maybe 5 years later to now, however much time that was, now my daughter's missing.
So you had this heart situation 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, up until your daughter went missing. So for 3, 4, or 5 years, you had no contact with your child. You had no desire to properly locate your child because you did have means to do so. You said that you put yourself on child support. Oh, I did the right thing. I put myself on child support. So if you put yourself on child support and you lost contact, say you didn't know the address of where the grandmother was, there is a paper trail of where that money is going. And if you're paying child support, you can contact the courts to locate your child in a 3, 4, 5 year span. In most cases where you put yourself on child support, you go down, as you say, and put yourself on child support, they have to establish paternity. So if they establish paternity and you are the recorded father, then you can petition the courts for parenting time if you wanted to, but you didn't want to because you wanted to live life with your wife and just have that situation where it was. Let's hear what the rest of you had to say. What else?
Now, forward 3 or 4, maybe 5 years later to now, however much time that was, now my daughter's missing.
Okay. Now, I want to say, without, I don't mean no disrespect by it, but like, without getting into too much your business, your personal business, I guess as deep as you want to go, why was it that you felt like you needed to give your rights up to her as opposed to raising her yourself if you knew that the mother was in whatever condition that she was in where she couldn't take care of her? Why didn't you take her?
All right, so I made a decision, for one, without my wife knowing. See, I'm married, so I made a decision without my wife knowing, and her name is Chantel. Tail knew my position where I was in because we had worked together, and we had told the grandmother, the situation. So, and I know people are going to go ham or whatever, but I tried to be as responsible as my mind at that time could take. And, I didn't run. Everybody want to say something. Go get them other guys that ain't taking care of this and ain't taking care of that. I took care of it.
I mean, if abandoning your child for 3, 4, 5 years, since you couldn't keep track of how many years had went by up until the time she went missing, was taking care of it, then yeah, you took really good care of it. And by taking care of it, you was making sure that that situation was far removed from your real life and it did not affect your household and your wife and all of that. So, I mean, yeah, you took care of it, all right.
So you made that decision without your wife. So do you feel like had you told your wife the situation, she would have what? Maybe convinced you to take her or convinced you to do what you did?
You know what? Now, when all this happened just now, I even apologized to my wife because I took away my wife's ability to, have her own feelings for the situation, and I knew that, and I had to have that conversation again with my wife. Now, had I not done what I done, I know for sure this situation wouldn't have happened, and it's tearing me apart because she would have had the 2 homes to go to and come to. And a lot of stuff, but my background growing up, it wasn't. I mean, I think it's still. You got to understand, everybody don't make right decisions. Everybody just hear the story. Oh, he should have done this. I'm pretty sure you should have done some things too.
Sir, we're not going to compare shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Now, I should have left home 10 minutes earlier the other day so that I wasn't late to do what I had to do. But we're not going to compare my shoulda, coulda, wouldas with you outright abandoning your daughter for what you claim to be 3, 4, or 5 years up until she went missing. But I believe it was even longer than that. You claim that you signed your rights over and then you were trying to conceal it from your wife. You put yourself on child support. You claim that prior to you abandoning her for this 3, 4, or 5 years, you claim that prior to that you were going to birthday parties and special occasions. But when y'all was doing these news conferences and all of that, I never even seen you hold up no picture of you and your child together. So I doubt that it was, I feel like it was even longer than the 3, 4, and 5 years that you say. But let's move the story along, okay? Let's fast forward to when Naziyah goes missing. I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of background of what he had to say as to why he wasn't in her life. Now, let's fast forward to Naziyah goes missing, and then he talks about how he found certain things to be suspicious as it pertains to the grandmother. According to him, he thinks that she was not properly reported to the police as a missing person. He thinks that they went to the police and they reported her as a runaway. Now, if you guys listen to the response of the police from the news, they didn't actively start searching for Naziyah until a month later, because then they started to treat it as a official missing person. But he believes that the response was the way it was because they were going to the police telling them a story like, oh, she just ran away, she'll be back, that kind of thing. So let me move the story forward and get to that.
She reported Naziyah's disappearance to Detroit Public Schools Community District. Their police department launched an investigation the very next day, on January 10th.
All right, so as you can see, the public schools police department, not actual DPD, the public schools department launched their quote unquote investigation. And then that's where the school is the one that notified Naziyah's father of her disappearance, I guess, as a part of their investigation. Now, it wasn't until a month later that DPD got notified. All right. So let me replay that so that when you're listening to it, you understand the different channels that this went through.
She reported Naziyah's disappearance to Detroit Public Schools Community District. Their police department launched an investigation the very next day, on January 10th. More than a month later, after hitting a roadblock, they notified Detroit police of Naziyah's disappearance. That was February 13th.
A 13-year-old girl in Naziyah.
DPD got to work immediately canvassing the East Side community where Naziyah lived and was last seen. It would be the first of many major searches.
A missing girl who has no history of being a runaway, has never done that before. Her missing persons is not handed over to Detroit Police Department until a month later. And prior to that, for a whole month, the school is doing the investigation, or the school's police department is doing the investigation. And it don't get handed over to the actual police department until a month later. I wonder why. But let's hear why Naziyah's father suspects that is.
Now, when we were trying, I said, Mama, and after a while, I'm like, Mama, we done put these flyers up. All the kids that we talking to, they're saying they know her, but they ain't seen her in 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm like, well, that's about when the thing happened. It ain't nobody seeing her, but Mama telling me they seeing her running up and down the street. And I'm trying to keep calm. Now, after we go through, and I'm going to jump right back, DPS and the Detroit Police Department, they do have a certain procedure and protocol on how they do things. If it's a runaway, I think they treat the situation different than a missing person. I don't know. Now that all this came out, I think she was reported as a runaway. And I think that was set up like that. I really do. I really do think it was set up like a runaway for time purposes. And I'm simply saying that because I asked Grandma, I said, now look, Ma, I just want to ask a few more questions.
All right, so to summarize the next part that he says, he basically talks about the time where Naziyah was at school. She had walked to the back and there was a man back there. She was talking to him. She told one of her teachers that it was her dad. They asked her dad if it was him, and he said no, it wasn't him. And the dad said he felt like she was protecting somebody. Then he goes on to say this.
So now going back real quick. Now, mind I told you when we got out, we was passing out flyers. I would go over there and ask her what area should I go in. She was like, well, go down there to Chatsworth, on Chatsworth. So I guess the back of the school sits on Chatsworth. I said, well, Ma, why would I go down there on Chatsworth? She was like, because that's when Naziyah walked through the field and met with that guy at the truck. I said, so she walked through the back of the school, Ma, and walked through the field? You know, I'm trying to figure out. She was like,
you say all of that to say that
the
they knew
story's
that
changed.
she was possibly dealing with somebody out of her age range and was not doing nothing about it?
There was so many stories that just bang around in our head. I'm like, I'll be passing out. Like, if I cough or if I get too emotional right now, my chest will puff up. And then I can pass out. But I got a heart defibrillator that boom, it bring me back. That's just what I be going through, dealing with the stuff. I'm never alone, like, by myself, ever.
All right, so as you know, or some of you guys may not know, her father is no longer with us. He passed away the year that she went missing. So this is a quote from Fox 2 Detroit. It says, Harris's father, Mervyn Jennings, passed away over the summer months after his daughter went missing. His friend and Detroit Police Commissioner for District 1 says that he spent months searching for his daughter in fields and in abandoned homes while sick. She is alleging that he literally died of a broken heart and that his congestive heart failure got him sicker because he went out to look for her. I mean, it sounds good. It sounds like he already just had health problems and he succumbed to them. Now, the family has been getting a lot of scrutiny, the aunt, the grandmother, and things like that. But may he rest in peace. Naziyah's father failed her tremendously as well. I know that he is resting in peace and people don't like to speak ill of the dead. But, you know, sorry that he had this situation happen where he had a problem with his heart, but you failed your child too. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. This particular video, I just wanted to show proof that they knew, were aware, and failed these girls. They failed Naziyah. They failed Janiyah. They failed the 9-year-old that witnessed all of these things, and they failed all of the other young girls that came in contact with him and were violated as a result of them not reporting him to the authorities, them allegedly coaching the children to not say anything, and them protecting a PDF, ultimately leading to the demise of Naziyah Harris and the violation of all of these other girls. I think that if the detectives look a little closer into Shannon, which I believe they are doing, charges need to be brought up against her. I don't think that they asked her, well, didn't you know about the other girls that he was dealing with? Didn't you know? I don't think they asked her that for no reason.
You and Mr. Butts have been, or you've known him for about 12 years?
Correct.
And fair to say that you were in a dating relationship with him for most of that time?
Correct.
But towards the end, like last year, it was more off and on, fair to say?
No, it was on and off for years.
For years, okay. But you have 5 children with him?
Correct.
And this relationship that you had with him, even towards the end when it was on, it was a sexual relationship, right?
Correct.
Sometimes you go to a motel to have sex with him?
Correct. Yes.
And that motel was the Park Crest Inn?
Or the SharePoint.
There was more than one?
Multiples, yes.
Okay. But one of them was the Park Crest? Said yes?
Correct.
And it's in Harper Woods?
Correct.
On Harper?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know if Mr. Butts, or do you suspect that Mr. Butts has taken other women to those motels also?
Correct.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Now, during the time that you and Mr. Butts were together, he's had children with other women?
Correct.
Pretty consistently with other women?
Correct.
More than one woman?
Correct.
Some of those women you actually knew about, correct?
Correct.
They lived kind of even in the same neighborhood on the east side?
Correct.
But you suspect that there were women that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Even one that lived, or more than one that lived over on the west side?
Correct.
You believe he was going out there to see somebody around the end of 2023, January 2024?
Correct.
The preliminary hearing was just a smidge of the universe of evidence that they have. A lot of people on my prior video where I showed the messages between Shannon and her cousin Roxy, they were like, oh my God, send this to the prosecutors. They need to see this. They've seen it, I'm sure. The preliminary hearing is not everything that they have. And they're not going to show everything that they have before they have a seated jury trial. All the preliminary hearing was to gauge if there was enough evidence to take it to trial. And once they go to trial, them little sample jail calls that we heard of him calling the girlfriend and her seemingly helping destroy evidence, better believe that there's going to be other jail calls of Shannon talking to him on the phone. They're monitoring all of those things, and I suspect that it's going to come out in the actual trial. Okay, so be patient. I'm certain. I just feel that they will be arrested. I just feel like they will be arrested. I feel like they deserve to be arrested, and I feel like it is coming. But I just wanted to do this video and point out some of the things that I saw, even though other people have put out things and even though things have been on social media. I wanted to, particularly, comb through certain things and point out certain things on my own. It took me a while to get this video out to you guys because it takes a long time to really sit and listen to 5-hour live streams and pick the point where it's pertinent to bring to y'all. I could just sit and just play everything, but I kind of wanted to fine tune my next videos that followed and be more specific in the subject that I'm talking about on each video, since I already did a 5-hour live and things like that. So it took a little time. It took me time to make graphics. It took me time to edit. It took me time to just put it together. And I also had other things going on as well. So I just wanted to make sure I finally got this video out to you guys. All right, so I'm pausing my video and I'm going to allow any of you guys who want to come up to come up. Like I said, this video took me a long time to do. A lot of people were like, what's more to talk about? What is there to talk about? And they didn't understand why it took me so long to make this video. Number one, like I said, I've been really busy and I'm not a person, if you guys know anything about me, I'm not going to be running with just any narrative that people say. People are not going to come to me and be like, oh, did you hear what this psychic said? So this must be true about the story. Oh, did you hear about what this fake audio that is alleged to be Jarvis' brother said that nobody vetted? Nobody verified. Nobody could tell you which brother that's supposed to be. Nobody could tell you who's supposed to be speaking, when they were supposed to be speaking, and if it came from a reliable source, who recorded the call, who leaked the call. Nobody could tell you those things, but everybody could tell you that what he is saying is supposed to be true. See, I'm not that type of content creator. I don't just run with anything just because I make money off of stories. This is my job. This is how I make money, but I'm not a content creator that's just going to share anything. Okay. Now, prior to me starting this live video and playing my video to you guys, I uploaded this video on the back end and YouTube flagged it, and I waited 2 days for them to review it to try to, monetize it or whatever. And they told me that it's not monetized friendly. So once I end this live, I suspect the same thing is going to happen with this video because I uploaded the video. They said it wasn't monetized friendly. I tried to edit some things, blur out some curse words. I tried to redact some of, I went ham on them in certain areas. And I'm like, okay, let me scale back on reading them for filth. And then I re-uploaded the video and YouTube still didn't monetize it. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to drop the video and stream it as a live and just bring it to you guys anyway. So that's what I did right here. I wanted you guys to see the video that I put so much work into, even though a lot of the stuff, well, not a lot of it, some of the stuff y'all seen, but I already knew that people was not going to go through their pages like I went through their pages. Like I said, whenever I'm doing a story, I'm looking in places that other content creators are not necessarily looking. And even if something was probably shared to you, I know that other people not probably dissecting and breaking it down like me. So I hope that this video was worth the wait. I know it took some time to get to you guys, but I really truly hope that all of the work that I did does not go unnoticed, because baby, I was working hours and hours and hours and hours putting this together for y'all. I wanted there to be a factual timeline. I wanted there to be a more reliable breakdown of how things happen. And I wanted it, like, if I wanted to be like, if I put it out, I wanted it to be right. So I was very like anal about like not just throwing out anything. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, with so many content creators jumping on the story, I don't want to be that one that's just putting out anything. Yes, this is how I make money. And I hope that you guys, since it's not monetized, I hope that you guys do support the video via Cash App, via Super Chat. Somebody had made a comment when I had told y'all that the video had not got monetized, and they were like, oh, it's such a shame that, you're trying to make money off of this story. And I just got to let y'all know, this is my full-time job. Okay. Everybody got different jobs that they do. This is something that I pour into, and this is my actual job. So for the hours that I spend on these stories, this is how I feed myself, my family, et cetera, et cetera. So if you guys enjoy the video, hopefully, you can find it in your heart to donate to it. The only people that I feel like a side eye when I see people trying to profit off of it is her family. For instance, her brother reached out to me after I wrote him and I asked him, did he want to do an interview on my platform? I reached out to Naziyah's brother and I said, hey, I have a large platform. Would you like to do an interview on my channel? And he said, Natasha, if you quit your job, your like and your share is golden as well. Okay. So if you can't support monetarily, I understand. And support him by sharing it to your Facebook, sharing it to your Instagram stories, telling people where they could watch it, sharing my video, getting it out there. I don't even mind if other YouTubers react to it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I found stuff that I don't see other people reporting on. So, just promoting the video and telling people where to watch the video is amazing to me. But what I was saying is, so I reached out to the brother. The brother, he commented back to me and he said that he was like, oh, what's your offer or whatever, right? So I'm like, my offer as in like what, like money wise or whatever. And so he told me that, yeah, he was trying to, see what my offer is for his interview. And so I told him, I said, listen, that's not how I conduct my interviews. whenever I have a person that I do interviews with, if they have a Cash App, they have a cause, they have something that they want to promote, they can do that. But I don't just, fork over cash for interviews. But if you have a Cash App, you want to tell your side and people want to support you, that's how I do mine over here. So then he was like, he told me that, he been getting offers. People been offering him thousands of dollars to like for him to do an interview. And I said, well, baby, if they offering you thousands, baby, I cannot guarantee that you're gonna get that in donation. So you better get that thousands. He said thousands. They've been offering me thousands. I said, you better get them thousands. Cause yeah, that ain't thousands ain't gonna happen. I said you better get that shit. You leaving thousands on the table and you coming in, what you about to do? You better get them thousands. So then after that, he said, he was like, oh well, how much do you think I can get from like, I guess from my audience or whatever? I'm like, I don't know about them giving thousands, so you better go with the thousands. All I know is, if they dig what you're saying, they'll support you. But if you on some BS, they ain't really gonna get behind it. So I let that go where it is. I'm not going to, and I don't know. I just feel weird about it. Like when stuff happens to people that I care about personally, like it's really not for sale. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like certain stuff, like certain family members trying to profit that this isn't their job. Now, y'all be trying to condemn YouTubers for making money, but this is our job. This is what we do. No matter the story, no matter the context of the story, this is our job. But family should not be trying to come up off of her story. And that's what a lot of it gives, like I can't see one of my little cousins going missing and I'm trying to get the top dollar. I don't know. It's just that part don't feel right. But if you working, you working. Now, don't kill me out of this for working now. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that. But if there's anybody who wants to come up and tell me what you think about anything that I pointed out in the breakdown, anything that you want to just speak about, or you know what? I'll probably have a separate live, because when I be pulling people up, y'all don't know how to censor yourselves. And y'all be saying words that trigger the algorithm even more. So never mind, scratch that. I was going to try to pull people up, but y'all don't be censoring yourself. Y'all be slipping and all that. So I will probably come back. I'll probably try to come back later. It is my birthday. I am, child, who know my age in the chat? I am old woman. I'm old woman now, child. I am getting up there in age, honey. I am getting up there in age, baby. It's my birthday. Aquarius season in the house. Awesome job. I have to go back and watch from the beginning. Yes, watch from the beginning. Thank you so much. You said you won't tell. Okay, don't tell them. Don't tell them. Don't tell them. Somebody said 50. I know you lying. Don't be playing in my face, Greg. Okay, don't be playing in my face. Aisha said, you my age, 42. I'm not in my 40s yet. I have not hit the 40 club yet. Okay, but I am close. I'm not 40. I ain't 41, 42, or 43, or 50, but I am close. Okay, I ain't hit the 40s yet. I'm 38 years old today, and I am I'm grateful that I have made it to see 38. A lot of people, because appearance-wise, people think that I look a lot younger. They always tell me, like, Neek, don't tell your age, because, that ages you in, like, entertainment and stuff like that. But I have seen so many people lose their lives. I've seen so many loved ones be here today, gone tomorrow, and didn't make it to see certain ages. So I'm gracious and thankful that I was able to hit 38. Okay. So yes, I'm 38, and yeah, I'll be 40 soon. Not yet. Not yet. Not too much. Don't put that on me yet. But I'll be there soon. And shout out to all the Aquariuses in the building. If you in Aquarius, I want you to put it down in the chat. Yeah. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. All right, y'all. Peace. Oh, and what do y'all want me to cover next? Because this took up a lot of my time and I wasn't able to cover like so much other stuff. What is another story that that you guys want me to cover next? Let me know as well. Thank y'all for supporting me. I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll try to come back maybe I'll probably try to do a stream or something maybe later or so, but I'll come back. All right, y'all let me know what y'all want me to cover next.